I'm just going to select this. I'm going to go to Promptify, and we'll call this spelling words. Generate the prompt again, copy to clipboard, paste it in. Let's use the theme nature. Great, so it's given us nature words, copy and paste, back to apply niche, paste it in, there's our fields, and boom, we have our beautiful nature word list. So you could make a whole pack of worksheets like this in 10 minutes? You can just brainstorm a whole collection of niches, words, and have a whole week's worth of worksheets done in a few minutes. Hey guys, how are you doing? It's Catherine, and I have crazy exciting news about tangent templates today. So one thing I am going to put out there is that we are going to be raising the price on tangent templates. Oh my gosh, we have never done this before. We launched tangent templates, I think in 2018, with a few templates. That was all it was. It was a collection of, I think we had 12 templates for line paper, graph paper, sheet music paper, just the basics. And we sold those 12 templates for $59. And we kept adding to tangent templates. We put the designer tool in there. We put the cover designer. We put the listing helper so that you can list your books really easily on KDP. We put TT Turbo into tangent templates so that you can create a whole bunch of pages very easily. We put all these features in, and we kept the price at $59, a one-off price of $59. And we will be putting the price up in July. So if you buy tangent templates now, you can still get it at the bargain price of $59. And if you message me, I have a promo code that can make it a little bit cheaper than that. So buy it now, because we are going to be putting the price up in July. This is the first time we have raised the price on tangent templates. But there is some really good news here. Isaac has just added a bunch of updates that are absolutely blowing my mind. Absolutely blowing my mind. We have some hotkey shortcuts that make using TT even easier and faster. And we have the new form-powered design, which is absolutely incredible. There is not another tool like this on the market. This is an Isaac invention, and I need to show you guys how powerful and how cool this is, because you will be making designs so fast with this. If you have a creative block, if you're not sure what to create, this is going to help you. It is really, truly mind-blowing. The first thing I'm going to show you is the shortcut hotkeys, and these are awesome. So if you go to Project in the Tangent Designer and go to Shortcuts, there's a list of all the shortcuts here, and there's lots of them. So you're probably not going to learn them all at once, but what I would focus on is what are the things you do the most in tangent templates, because there's probably a shortcut for this. So for example, I love this one. The quick color picker is I. Let's say we're working on this page and we want to change the color of this little circle here. All you got to do, one finger, I'm pressing I, and it brings up the color picker like that. So you can just change a color instantly. All you got to do is select something on the page and hit I, and that gives you a color picker. Amazing. And this is another really helpful one. So let's say you have all these 4 text boxes. You can just hit Control and L to left align them. And then you can hit Control and Y to distribute them evenly. So this is also a game changer. So there are so many shortcuts here. I recommend just reading through them. You can find them by going to the Project tab and then clicking Shortcuts. This is like the complete cheat sheet. Like, you know when you're playing Call of Duty or like one of those games and you're like, why is everyone shooting me in the head? And it's because you haven't learned the cool like shortcuts to play the game. This is like the cool shortcuts for tangent templates. So I recommend getting familiar with this. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a PDF of these shortcuts, because I think it'd be really helpful if you can print them and have them beside your computer. But these are really helpful. And once you get the muscle memory of using them, it makes using TT so much easier. Now let's take a look at the real game changers that we have just put into TT. And we are grouping all of this under the name Form-Powered Design. You heard it here first, Form-Powered Design. I'm putting it on record because this is brand new. There isn't another tool that works like this. And I think it's really going to change how you publish books, how you publish worksheets. And this is just the beginning. I'm just starting to play with this. Isaac literally gave it to me a couple of days ago. I started playing with it and I'm like, I don't think we've figured out the potential of this because it's huge. And the more I use it, the more ways I realize you can use this. So let's take a look at how this works. So I'm going to start by adding a new page. And what I'm going to do is go and pick one of our templates that has a lot of text on it. So I'm going to scroll past the first ones and go down to the bottom because I really want to pick one that has text. So I'm going to take this field trip planner. So this is a field trip planner that I created for homeschoolers. You can see that all of the fields on the page relate to going on a field trip. So the first thing I'm going to do is ungroup this template because when you put the template on the page, it's like a solid object and I want to be able to edit the fields individually. So to ungroup it, just go to the Style tab and click Ungroup. Now you can work with all of these fields individually. Let me show you the first part of Form-Powered Design, or FPD as the cool kids are calling it. The cool kids being Isaac and me, because we're probably the only ones who have played with it so far. But you guys are about to be the cool kids as well, so you can call it FPD too. So what I'm going to do is select everything on this page. And you might notice that we've made a few interface improvements as well. So you can select from off the page now, which makes it a lot easier to select the objects you want. And we've also improved the alignment on the object. So you might notice some interface improvements as well. Now, what I'm going to do is select this whole page. And in particular, I want to make sure all the text fields are selected. And now what I'm going to do is go over to this side and I'm going to select FPD. And under FPD, we have 4 different options here. So let's look at Form-Powered Design first. If I select this, what you will now see on your screen is that there's a box for each field that we've selected. So this makes it super easy to edit. You can see how it's highlighted field trip. Now we can change this. We could put school trip. Perfect. So you can just retype any of the fields on the page without having to go and click on them. And it's great because you can just tab through these and edit it really, really fast. If you don't want that to say destination, and we could change that to say like experience if you want to change that to something else. This makes it really quick to edit a template. And of course, you can do this with any of your own designs or your own templates as well. It's super simple, but it makes designing so much faster. So we want to say field trip planner. Now we want to call it field trip log. You can just change that. That tool is called Form-Powered Design, and you get it by selecting everything, clicking Form-Powered Design. Now, I want to show you what I am really excited about. I want to show you some absolute magic. Now, it is a brand new feature. I've just been using it, testing it for the last few days. This is like Isaac's brain just poured this into Tangent templates. So I would love feedback. If you want to share your designs in the KDP group, that would be amazing. If you have any comments or questions, criticisms, suggestions, we are very open to hearing them because we want this to be the best product it can be. And we want it to be super usable and super friendly. So let us know your thoughts on how this works. But check this out. So we have added these 2 tools, Promptify and Apply Niche. And this is how they work. So we're going to open Promptify. And what I'm going to say is this is a field trip log. So give Promptify a simple title. So you can say this is a trip planner. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to say it's a trip planner. And then what we're going to do is say generate prompt. And do make sure that you have all the fields on the page selected that you want to work with. So for the most part, you'll probably want to select everything. Now, see what it's done here. It has created a prompt for us. So it says, I have a trip planner template with 15 text fields that I want to transform to a different niche. And all we're going to do is copy this. And then you're going to go over to the LLM of your choice. So you can use ChatGPT, you can use Claude, you can use Google Gemini. I personally am a huge fan of Google Gemini. I think it's a great tool. But I'm going to use ChatGPT for this. And I'm just going to paste in that prompt. So all I did, I opened up Promptify, I put in a title, and you don't have to worry too much about the title. Just give it a simple title that kind of explains what the template is, and then do generate prompt. And then copy to clipboard. So title, generate prompt, copy to clipboard. Paste that into ChatGPT, and away we go. Now, ChatGPT is going to suggest some niches for you. You may already have a niche in mind. For example, if you create products for teachers pay teachers, then a particular grade level might be your niche. If you create coaching books or coaching worksheets, then you might want to put life coaching in here or mental health. So it's going to give you some niche suggestions. You can put anything you like in this. So I'm going to say spiritual journey. Great. So ChatGPT has just given me a list, and all I'm going to do is select copy. Now, it may or may not put it in a code block like this. If it puts it in a code block, just click copy. If it doesn't, just select it and copy it yourself with Control-C or with the mouse or however you like to copy things. So you're going to copy those fields, and then we go back to tangent templates, and now we're going to move to apply niche. So we've just worked in Promptify. Now you're going to work in apply niche. So we open that up, make sure everything's still selected here, and we're going to paste those fields and click update. And check it out. It has just created this spiritual path. And you may notice the odd formatting issue like here, but that's easy. You can just fix that there. Spiritual path. And if you want, you can make the text slightly smaller so it fits better. We can make that one slightly smaller as well. And this one got uncentered. No biggie. We can just center that text. Perfect. This one I'm going to fix the alignment there to make it right aligned. So minimal alignment there. And in fact, I'm just going to move that up there. And take a look at this, because this has just re-niched this entire template from being a field trip planner to being a spiritual journey or a spiritual path log. In fact, let's compare this to the original. So the original had curriculum points, a packing list, and preparation study. This had practice insights, still got a packing list, and ritual preparation study. So I don't know, maybe you don't want a packing list if you're on a spiritual journey. So you could easily go back to this and say, suggest something better than a packing list, more appropriate for a spiritual journey. Great, so now we could do journey items or sacred tools. So we can actually fix this with form-powered design. And form-powered design pops up automatically when you have more than 2 text boxes selected. So I'm just going to go to form-powered design, and instead of packing list, I'm going to have sacred items. And I'm going to make sure that's center aligned. Perfect. I think that needs aligning as well. And you can see in the field trip, it had what happened, what did I learn? And in the spiritual path, it's changed to what unfolded and what shifted in me. So this has taken a school trip worksheet and completely converted it into a page that you could use in a spiritual planner or a new age journal. So you can take any of our templates or any of your own templates, and now you can convert them to any other niche just by using the Promptify tool and the form-powered design to do this. Let's do another example. So I'm going to add a page, and then from templates, let's see, I'm going to select Let's do the podcast planner. So this is a planner for recording a podcast. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to ungroup it. And then we're going to select everything again. And automatically that opens up the FPD tab. And if you don't see that open up, just make sure you're selecting at least 2 text fields and this should pop up for you. So I'm going to go to Promptify. I'm just going to skip straight ahead to Promptify and I'm going to call this a podcast planner. And I'm going to say generate prompt. And then we're going to copy that to the clipboard and back to ChatGPT to paste that in. It's suggesting some really interesting niches for us. Now we could convert this from being a podcast planner to being maybe an interview planner for your blog or for a magazine. Or you could make this a workshop planner or even a tabletop role-playing game planner. Let's try that. Let's do TTRPG planner for my Cyberpunk game. Fantastic. Okay, so it's given us these fields. Let's copy that. And we go back to tangent templates. And now we're moving beyond Promptify and we're going to apply niche. And we're just going to paste those fields in there and say update. Check it out. It has just updated all of these text fields. So I'm just going to press escape so we can work with these. And I'm just going to adjust that one. Adjust that one. So you can see with just a few of the fields, maybe they're a bit too long. No problem, you're just going to extend those. But look at this. It has now changed from being a podcast planner to being a planner that is perfectly workable for your tabletop role-playing game. So you've got the campaign name, which session it is that you're in, play date. Now it has upload date. I don't know if I want that for my role-playing game, but I can totally see where it's coming from in that sometimes people like to put their tabletop games on YouTube or something like that. If you don't want it, just delete it and you can extend that field out. Then it's got the game master name, the players, a mission brief, the scenes that happened in the game, and even a soundscape. ChatGPT has used some fantastic creativity to convert this whole planner into a completely new page. Let's say we want to now put a character sheet into our campaign. I can go back to this field trip page. I can select everything here. I can go to Promptify and I can say character sheet. I'm going to call it a character sheet. And I'm going to generate my prompt, copy to clipboard. And I'm going to paste this prompt in here. And because I called it a character sheet and it knows I'm working on Cyberpunk, it actually suggested that. So I'm going to say a Cyberpunk character sheet for a TTRPG. Okay, let's see how this does. So we're going to copy it. Scroll down to apply niche and paste in those fields here. Now, of course, this isn't really a character sheet. This was literally a field trip log, but it has done its best to make sense of what I asked. So it actually has space for a street name, background of your character, core drives for your character, and then you have your loadout intel. So that's like what weapons you have, your augment, so like what kind of chips you have implanted and all the cool cyber stuff that you have. So it has done a remarkable job of taking something from one niche and turning it into something completely different. Now, what is really amazing with this is that we can take something really simple, like a checklist, and we can turn this into content for pretty much any niche you can imagine. So let's say we wanted to create something for our Cyberpunk game. I can select all of these, and look, form pad design comes up automatically when I select multiple text boxes. And I'm going to go to Promptify and I'm going to call this checklist and generate prompt. So now we have this prompt. I'm going to take this over to ChatGPT and paste it in. And it asks us, what niche would you like to transform this checklist into? So I'm going to say a list of cyberpunk scenarios for my TTRPG, tabletop role-playing game. Check it out. It has given us an awesome list of scenarios. So I'm just going to copy that back to Tangent Templates, scroll down to Apply Niche, and paste that in and update. And look at that. Now we have a page that we could include in our Cyberpunk roleplay book. Hack the city mainframe, rescue a rogue android, and so on. So if you were the game master of a role-playing game, this is just giving you 20 scenarios. So let's say you create a template that has a scenario for a game. So maybe it says location, a description of the location, who's at the location, maybe some information about security or stats. And then what you could do, you could just run this each time for that template. So you could create a whole book full of scenarios this way. So this is an amazing shortcut to creating those medium content books. And let's say we do want to create a checklist for another niche. We can just take a look at this and say, okay, how about a camping trip? So even though we've just gone through this Cyberpunk one, I can say, now do the camping trip checklist. Fantastic. So that's given us 20 fields. We can go back to our plain checklist, select all those again, and just paste in those new fields. Pack sleeping bags, check tent supplies, load firewood, pack marshmallows. Perfect. Now, I want to talk about worksheets, and this works for both KDP, if you're making books of worksheets for KDP, or if you're looking at selling them on a site like Teachers Pay Teachers. You can create pages of spelling words or math problems. You can create those in a heartbeat. Let me show you how to do that. So I've got this template here for you, spelling words, word. I'm going to select this, FormPad Design, Promptify. Spelling words, generate prompt, copy to clipboard, and paste. Now, this is brilliant because it suggests some niches for you. And you can give it your own niche. You can say, like, I want nature words, I want animal words, color words, or we can go with the suggestions here. So we can say affirmation words. Cool. So now we just copy those, back to Tangent Templates, apply niche, and paste. There you go. That's how quick and easy it is to make a page of spelling words. And you can just do this in every niche and you will have a book of spelling words. This one is a prettier version, same thing, but still spelling words. I'm just going to select this and I will include this in the TT file. So you guys can have this template and you can work with it to your heart's content. You can change the text, whatever you want to do with it. I'm going to go to Promptify. And we'll call this spelling words. Generate the prompt again, copy to clipboard, paste it in. So this actually wants to transform it away from spelling words. I'm going to say, no, I still want spelling words. Let's use the theme nature. Great. So it's given us nature words, copy and paste. And just note that this is AI. It might suggest niches that aren't appropriate. You can just guide it. It's just ChatGPT, so you can interact with it. The important thing is that you end up with these fields. So back to apply niche, paste it in, there's our fields, and boom, we have our beautiful nature word list just like this. So you could make a whole pack of worksheets like this in 10 minutes. You can just brainstorm a whole collection of niches, words, and have a whole week's worth of worksheets done in a few minutes. And guess what? This works for math problems as well. So let's select this, the addition practice, Promptify, addition worksheet as the title, generate prompt, copy to clipboard, paste in ChatGPT, and this suggests some fun themes and ideas. I'm just going to say multiplication because we have addition, so let's just turn this into multiplication problems. So there's all our fields. We're going to copy that, go back over here, apply niche, paste, and watch this. We just turned our addition worksheet into a multiplication worksheet, just like that. So let's go back into ChatGPT and just say, fractions now, please. Look at this. This is so cool. So now we're just going to copy those fields. There's quite a lot of them because it's a big page. So we're going to copy all of those. Back to TT, paste, update. And look at that. We have fractions. Now, I'm not big on the formatting of the fractions with the handwriting font. So I'm just going to select these and we can switch these to another font. So actually, Nanito, that does good fractions. So I just make the text size a little bit bigger. And there we go. And if you want another page of fractions, so we just want to create a book full of fraction sums, we can just go back to ChatGPT and say, great, another page of fresh fraction problems, please. And you can specify a grade level. So you can say, I don't know, for grade 6. And we can also say mix, subtracting, and adding fractions. And let's go ahead and copy this. And if it doesn't automatically select FPD, just click it there and apply niche. Perfect. So this has just created a whole new collection of sums. And I noticed that these ones are a little poorly aligned where it has the 10. So we can just select those and that one there as well. And then just use the arrows to fix that alignment. There we go. So you may need to tweak the odd things slightly, but this is such an enormous time saver. It is awesome. And if you want to see something really crazy, this works with even stories and longer text. So I made this comprehension worksheet here called The Missing Muffins. And these pictures here were just from TT Images. So I just went to TT Images and picked them from the candy section. Now watch this. So I'm going to select it all with all the text. I'm going to leave the name box alone because I don't want to change that. And I'm going to go over to Promptify and I'm going to call this comprehension story. Generate the prompt, copy to clipboard, and let's paste that prompt in here. So now it asks us what kind of story we want. So I'm going to say fantasy and magic moments. That sounds fun. So it has now niched this story. So let's copy that across, go back to our original page, and I'm going to scroll down, apply niche, paste, and update. This has just rewritten the story in a fantasy and magic niche. So it's now called The Vanishing Cupcake. Leela the young witch baked a glowing cupcake for her potion class. She left it on her windowsill to cool and ran to find her spellbook. When she returned, the cupcake had vanished. She followed a trail of glitter down the hall, straight to her sneaky pixie roommate, Nib. And I'm going to get rid of that M dash there. So that's that long dash that AI sometimes puts into text. And I'm just going to replace it with a comma. And then check out the questions. It's even created some comprehension questions based off this story. What did Leela bake? Where did Leela go after baking the cupcake? Who do you think took the cupcake? It has created a whole new story. Now, this story is also about cupcakes, so we can leave those pictures, or you can delete the pictures. So here was another story it made for me earlier called The Vanishing Markers. And so I just switched out the picture. And instead of having the written spaces here for written answers, in this one, I just made it so that you could color the stars for the accurate statements. So there's some true statements and some false statements. So you can color those. You can create a ton of comprehension stories really quickly with this. And if you don't like the theme, like it's giving you too many vanishing things, then just go and talk to ChatGPT and say, I don't want anything missing. I don't want a vanishing item. Create a story on a different theme. And it can do that for you. And this works really well for classroom games as well. So I made this template for categories. And if you're wondering how I did the rainbow text, it's super simple. You just select a text box, and go to type, and there's a button for rainbow text, which is really cool. And actually, you can get more creative with this, because if you go to the group color changer, you can actually pick a color palette. For example, let's do magenta burst. And you see what it does? It actually creates a really fun theme. So I'm going to do that again on this one. I like that magenta one. There we go. And now you have these pretty colors on your text as well. So the rainbow text and the group color changer, really, really fun for making creative, pretty pages. And in fact, I'm going to go to the palette selector and themes, and I'm going to find that magenta palette. There it is. And I'm going to set that here. So I can actually just change everything on this page. So we can use pink, bit too bright, turn that down a bit. And this box here, let's see. Again, might turn that down a little bit. That looks nice. I like that color scheme. So how does the categories game work? Well, it gives you the rules. You'll be given a letter, you write it in the box. So this is already set with the letter A. So then you have to think of one of each of these things that starts with an A. So like a travel destination, Australia, that might work. An airline or an airport. Does Atlanta, that counts, right? That's an airport. Capital city that begins with A. Is Amsterdam a capital city? I don't know, but there you go. That's how you would play this game. If you want to change it up and make a book of categories, we can select it all. We can go to Promptify. We can call this categories game and generate a prompt. Copy that. Paste. And it suggests some new niches. So let's do a holiday one. And because I made it all pink, I'm going to say Valentine edition. Great. So we have all our fields here. I'm just going to copy those. Back to TT. Scroll down, apply niche, paste, update. And check it out. It has just themed this. So game theme Valentine's edition. Think of one: romantic gift, a candy or a treat, a love song title, and so on. So now you have just niched this whole game to something else. So you can make trivia questions and have each page just be a list of trivia. So it could be on different categories of music, different movies. So you could have a whole book of movie quizzes, and each page could represent a different movie, for example. So this is giving you tons of new books that you can create really easily, and packs of PDFs that you can sell on other platforms, or you can give away as lead magnets to your bigger offers. So this is huge. And of course, you might want to change that letter as well, so they're not all A. You might want to make this like D, for example. And this is another classroom game that's super popular. It's all over Teachers Pay Teachers. If you go to Teachers Pay Teachers and say, I have, who has, there are a bazillion versions of this game. And the idea is that each child has a card that has one question and one answer on it. The question is, who has? And the answer is, I have. And they basically have to go around the classroom and find the kid whose card answers their question. So it's almost like a trail of cards. And you can see how these are used educationally, because like in this example, they have a 10 frame with the numbers spelt out in counters and then the actual number underneath. In this one, they have them represented as fractions. They have shapes. And so what you could do is have an actual shape, and then you could have triangle or square written out, so that the kid that has a picture of a square has to go and find the person that has square written out in letters. It's a really simple game, but a fun way to get kids active, moving around the classroom. So you could select all of these, go over to FormPad Design, Promptify, I have, who has, card game. Generate prompt, copy to clipboard, paste it. So these are actually Halloween themed. You can see I've got a spider, a jack-o'-lantern, a bat. But now we can change these to be a different theme. So let's do weather. Okay, great. So we'll select all of those, copy, apply niche, paste, update. Great. So this has come up with really simple solutions here. It just has I float in the sky, but that links to a cloud. I flash through the air. That links to lightning. And it got a little bit confused with rain, and it put both of those on one card. But that's a super easy fix. We can just move the I drip and drop over there, and I howl and blow. We can put that here. So you can just duplicate this page, fix the fields until you have a full deck of printable cards. You can use the form pad design with any of the TT files that are on my Gumroad. So if you go to catherine.gumroad.com, we have tons of TT files on there that you can just load into tangent templates and then edit with the form pad design. So for example, we've got worksheets with rainbow text here. You can grab that file. We have all these beautiful Charles Rennie Mackintosh inspired designs. There's a massive TT file full of infographics here that you can download. We also have habit and mood tracker TT files. And there's also these planner pages here with habit trackers and vision boards as well. So you can grab any of these files, import them into tangent templates. They are all free. And then you can edit them with form pad design and niche them to whatever niche you want. And I'll give you a really quick example. I designed this bingo card in tangent templates. If you're creating for a site like Teachers Pay Teachers, for example, this is a goldmine. You can create bingo cards for any subject you can possibly imagine. And the way it works is this. We're just going to select this bingo card. And this one's set up for healthy goals. So this is a healthy bingo. And it gives you things you can try, like try a new healthy recipe, take a nature walk, call a loved one. And when you do that thing, you cross it off your bingo card. Well, if we select it all, we can go over to Form Pad Design, Promptify, and I'm just going to call this bingo card, generate prompt, and then we're going to copy that to the clipboard and paste that in ChatGPT. And it's given us some great suggestions here. I love pet care bingo. And this is what is awesome about this tool. So if you're already working on a book and you know, like, hey, I'm making a planner for pet lovers or dog lovers, you can throw in any random template. It can be a bingo card, it can be a habit tracker, an infographic, and then you can say, make sense of this. And what you'll end up with is a unique page that you can put in your planner. I mean, how many dog planners or puppy planners have a bingo card in them? But yet that's such a fun thing to add in there. So let's give that a try. I'm going to say, let's do a puppy bingo for new puppy owners. And take a look at this. This is 77 fields. And it's 77 fields because each of these is actually a new line. But that's absolutely fine. With this, it's no problem at all. So we're going to go apply niche, paste in those 77 fields, and we're going to hit update. Boom. That took a second. And look at this. Look what it did with the free space. It put a little puppy face in there. So this was the old version like that with the free space. Had a little star. And this is what it looks like now. So you may need to fix the alignment a little bit. That needs to be put in the middle. And that's just because these are center aligned fields. But that is pretty awesome. With maybe a minute's work, you've created a whole new bingo card like that. And here's something even more awesome. If you just select it all and go to Style, make sure you're on the Style tab, you can use the group color changer. And watch this. So you just click on a color here, on a color scheme, and we are creating brand new color schemes right here, just like that with a click. And what you can do is click this shift button to actually cycle through the different colors. So we're just working in this Northern Light scheme there. If you just hit shift, it will cycle through the different colors in that color scheme. So you can just save this template and re-niche it for each planner or journal you create. Same thing with this habit tracker. So you could make a habit tracker for each month of the year. So I have February is beautiful. We select all of that, go to Form Pad Design, Promptify, Habit Tracker, generate the prompt, copy to clipboard, paste in ChatGPT, and we can make a habit tracker for our puppy book as well. So let's do a new puppy tracker. Great, so there's all our fields. Copy those, go back to the habit tracker, apply niche, paste, update. There we go. Puppy days are joyful. Practice sit, garden sniff, cuddle moment, play a game, brush the puppy. So now all you need to do is go in and delete this center image and put a puppy in there. And now you have a whole new habit tracker and a whole new page for your puppy book. So there's a really popular game called Would You Rather. And Would You Rather is all about picking between two choices. Would you rather eat rainbow spaghetti or eat glittery toast? Would you rather slide down a rainbow or bounce on a cloud? Would you rather have a robot friend or have a dragon pet? These are tough choices. Now, Promptify works amazingly well for games. So I'm going to select all of this text and I'm going to go to Promptify. And I'm going to put in as the title, Would You Rather game, and generate that prompt. Copy to clipboard and paste it into ChatGPT. And you can choose a new niche for this. So I could say Halloween edition. Here is your transformed Would You Rather Halloween edition. So let's copy this. So now we're going to go back to Tangent Templates, apply niche, and paste that in. Update. So this has just completely edited the Would You Rather game, and it's even called it Trick or Treat. So we now have, would you rather eat ghost-shaped cookies or eat candy eyeballs? So you can edit the fields. So I see that wear a pumpkin on your head went on to the next line. So I'm just going to edit this and say, a pumpkin on your head. There we go. So this has just converted this whole page to be a completely different Would You Rather called Trick or Treat. So I'm going to delete that background image and I'm going to change these colors. So I'm going to make the background orange and I'm going to keep that center part there. And I'm just going to grab one of our patterns here. So you can take any pattern, like for example, this one. Just going to turn that around, make it bigger. There we go. And I can change the colors on this to be more Halloween-y. So we can make that orange, we can make that black, we can make this one purple. And I can change this font if I go to type. There we go. And I'm going to make this, let's make this light purple. So that's how quickly you can change this Would You Rather to be a completely niched game. So quickly. You can make a whole book of Would You Rathers. If you want to go back to ChatGPT, let me know if you'd like a Christmas underwater or retro 80s edition. Sure, let's do retro 80s. I'm dying to see what an 80s Would You Rather looks like. Let's copy that. Make sure everything's selected there. Paste it in and hit update. Great. Okay, so it's made the text really huge there. Let's bring that down a little bit. There we go. But now you can see what it's done. Eat neon popcorn or eat glitter gum. Skate in a disco or dance on MTV. So again, you're just going to change these colors. I'm going to go to the palette selector and let's use the pretty pastels. So we can change these colors just like that. Color 3, let's make it pink. Main box. There we go. And we can change that font to be something like that. So now we've got 80s, we've got Trick or Treat, and we've got the original Would You Rather there. apart from KDP, games are really popular on both Teachers Pay Teachers and Etsy. And one thing I've noticed in particular on Etsy is wedding games. If you look up wedding game printables, you're going to see that a lot of people are making these. They get a lot of sales, like minimalist bridal shower games, wildflower themed games. So there's a lot of wedding games that are really popular on Etsy right now. And perhaps the most popular one is the wedding shoe game. And the idea with this is that you get the bride and the groom, and they sit in the middle, back to back on two chairs, and they each have two shoes. They have one shoe, which is their own shoe, and they have their partner's shoe. And then what happens is someone asks them questions like, who's the better cook? Who's the most likely to spend all their time on Facebook? And then both people hold up a shoe. And then hilarity ensues when they both decide that they're the best cook, or they're the person that is most responsible with money. And then all being well, they don't have a big fight over it, and everyone has a great time. So here's one I've created. And guys, I'm going to give you a TT file. So TT files are super easy. I will put a link to the TT file. I'll put it on Gumroad. And what you're going to do is open up the Tangent Designer, go to TT file, and you're just going to click import. And that's going to open up your files, and you're just going to import the TT file. So I'm going to give you a TT file with a bunch of these templates that you can play with and try out yourself. But if you want to build it from scratch, let's do that. So we're going to add a new page. We'll add a blank page. And this gives me a chance to show you something else new that we have added, which is called Paste Blast. And Paste Blast is really, really fun. So first I'm just going to set up the background for this. So I'm going to go to patterns. So I'm going to choose a pattern. And one thing I will say about the patterns is don't worry about the colors, because you can change those. So ignore the colors, pick a pattern that you like, and ignore the colors. So I'm going to choose this one, and I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to fit this to our page like that and make it nice and big. And now I can edit this here, so I can change the colors here. So I have these nice pastels. I'm going to make it that color. I'm going to make it that color. Ugh, I hate that green color. I'm going to make it a nice bright yellow. And I'm even going to change the black. Let's see. There we go. Now I don't like that pink. There. Okay, that's cute. Now, I like this, but because we're making it a wedding thing, I think we've got to go really pastel-y. And then the blue. There we go. So now I'm going to add a box to this. And we're going to put the box up here. Stretch that out. And I'm going to set a fill on the box. Now, I want this to be kind of pale. So I'm going to bring that right down. And let's see. So we have a kind of cream color there. And I'm going to up the border thickness a little bit, maybe not that much. And I'm also going to give this a corner radius there. Great. So now I'm going to put some text in here. And I'm going to call this the wedding shoe game. Let's use that dancing script. Nice. And I'm going to make that center aligned and stretch that out. So we have the wedding shoe game. So I'm going to add some text to this. And we're going to choose a font. I'll go with the Comforter. And then we can make that font size a lot smaller. Now, this is the exciting bit. If you have this text box selected, you can look over here at the Type tab, scroll down, and you'll see Paste Blast. And here's what Paste Blast does. So you can say, who is the better cook? Who has the best taste in music? So basically, we're looking for things that will start fights. Who is the tidiest? And so on. And if you run out of ideas, you can just put like item 1, item 2, and so on. And in fact, I'm just going to copy and paste that. So there we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 4 items. And we're just going to say blast it. Great. So I'm going to select those. And I'm going to unselect the background there. So we just have the text boxes. And I'm going to put those on the screen there. And I'm going to make the text size slightly smaller. Nice. And I'm going to resize this down a bit. There we go. Okay, so now we have 15 items on the page. Now, I also want to put his and her. So what I'm going to do is add another text box. I'm just going to copy this one, paste it, and I'm going to put his, her. Or I guess it should be him or her. So we're going to put this over here, and I'm going to copy and paste this. And I'm just going to copy and paste this a bunch of times. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We need 15. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Great. So now we can select all of those. And I'm going to use those shortcuts, Control Left and Control Y, to evenly space them. But I need to go and line this one up at the bottom. Let's do that again. Control Y. So now we have the layout pretty much set up. So I'm going to select all of this. And I'm going to go to Form Pad Design, Promptify, Wedding Shoe Game. Generate prompt, copy to clipboard. Go to ChatGPT, paste in our prompt. So now it's suggested some niches. What niche would you like to transform this game to? Now, it has some great niches here, like a best friend shoe game, or a classroom teacher game, or a baby shower shoe game for mom versus dad predictions. But first I want to complete the wedding one. So I'm going to say, wedding shoe game, please make every question unique. So there's all the fields. I'm just going to copy this. And we're going to apply niche and paste all that in. And bingo, there we go. It has just filled this out with questions. So I'm just going to select these. And I'm just going to stretch this out a little bit. Perfect. Look at that, how quickly we just generated a whole game. So now let's try the baby shower thing. So I'm going to make a copy of this. Just clicking that to make a copy. And now I'm going to go back to ChatGPT. And I'm going to say, now give me the baby shower version, please. And it keeps giving me more suggestions. Like it says, this version assumes mom versus dad, but you can easily swap titles if needed for different family configurations. So now I'm getting more ideas for niches. You could create a whole set of games for an LGBT baby shower. You could create a whole pack for a gender reveal. You could make a pack for grandparents, like the grandparent games. Oh my gosh, guys, there are so many directions you can go with this. So let's see how this works. I'm going to copy it, select everything on the page, apply niche, and paste it in. Baby shower shoe game. Here we go. So let's make this font a little smaller. There we go. And I'm just going to select these. And to unselect this box, because I'm just selecting everything, just hold down Shift and unselect the background and the box so that you can stretch out the text. And I'm going to make the text a little smaller so everything fits on. In fact, I'm going to make that font size 12. And then I'm going to select mom and dad. And I'm going to make that font size 12 as well. And I'm just going to pull it over a little bit so there's a bit more room. But there you go. We have just turned the wedding page into a baby shower page. And you can change the image. So for example, we can just select this background image. And I have an image here that I created in Midjourney. I just prompted for an abstract, cute pink and blue clouds baby pattern. I picked this one and upscaled it. So I can download this and then upload this here. And then I can go to Arrange and make that the full width of the page, center it, and center back. You can add a picture to this super easily. So you can convert any page, even a simple checklist like this, you can convert this to any niche you want. It makes building your books super fast. And this works so well with our infographics. If you haven't discovered our infographics yet, let me show you this. I'm going to add a new page. Just go down the side here to infographics, and you can pick any of these shapes. We've got a ton of interesting infographics here. We could pick this one, for example, and we can make it big on the page. And you can use the group color changer here to actually change the colors of this. You can have some fun and creativity using the colors. And then what you can do is add some text to this. So I'm just going to put one text box on, and then I'm going to go to Paste Blast. So we can say, let's see, we've got 7 sections here, and there's some space underneath. So I'm going to go text, 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 text. In fact, we can copy and paste that. And then I'm going to put notes. Blasted. Perfect. So I'm going to put the notes here, and I'm going to shorten these text fields like that. So I'm just going to select them, bring them down a bit, and then I can put the text in each of these sections here. There we go. And now we can just select all of this and go to Promptify and call it hexagon grid and generate the prompt. Copy to clipboard and paste. Here are a few niche suggestions you can choose from. I'm going to try the story element builder. Okay, these are interesting, so let's copy that. Back to tangent templates, scroll down to apply niche, and paste it in. Boom! So now we have a whole new concept here, and I think the hero name should be in the middle, and the fatal flaw should be up there. This gives you a really simple framework right here that you can start working with. And guys, if you are in my Origins course, go watch the frameworks classes, because this fits so beautifully with what we teach in the frameworks, that you can build really awesome frameworks that can be at the heart of your book or your product or your business. This has just given you a beautiful framework right here, and you can expand on this in your book to create a story guide for writers or a character creating guide. So even just experimenting briefly with ChatGPT, this has actually given us the start of a product. And you can turn this into a KDP book, a PDF, or even a selection of worksheets for writers that you could sell on a platform like Etsy. The infographics are great for this. Here's another template infographic, and it's just a basic pyramid. It doesn't really have any information. It says the first step's to do something. This is the second step. So if we select all of this, go to Promptify, pyramid, infographic, generate prompt, copy this, ChatGPT, paste, Maslow for marketers, always a fan of Maslow, stages of character growth, habit formation pyramid. I'm curious about the habit formation pyramid. Let's see what that does. Okay, let's paste this in. Scroll down, apply niche, paste. Update. Nice. So this would be really good in a coaching book. So we have the habit formation pyramid. Identity shift and belief is at the top of the pyramid, but we start with small wins. And this explains it. An overview of how to build lasting habits by starting small, reinforcing success, and aligning with identity. We can also move things around. This doesn't fit in the pyramid, so I'm going to select it, and I'm going to left align that text, and I'm going to move this outside the pyramid like that. If you want to change the shape of the pyramid, you can select it and then go to the Arrange tab and click Unlock Skew. And now you can actually change the shape of the pyramid. left align those two, and we can use the hotkeys to select all of these and then do Control left. Oh, I forgot to align that one. There we go. And then we can make the pyramid go over there. Nice. So this gives you such a quick and simple starting point for your designs, and then you can go and edit them as much as you want. This tool, the Promptify, when you combine it with Infographics, this gives you an amazing start. Even if you only have a rough idea of what niche you want to design in, you can make a medium content book for any niche using these tools. You can just whack an infographic on the page, you can put some text boxes, and you can get AI to make sense of it for you. Amazing. This is another infographic that I made, and again, this is super generic. So I just said diagram of a 6-part process, step 1, 2, 3, and so on. And what we can do, if we select that, Promptify, 6-part process, generate prompt. So let's copy that to the clipboard, paste that in, and I'm going to choose launching a digital product. And we'll select those fields, and I'm going to paste that into apply niche. And there we go. So this has just created a whole new thing here. 6 steps to launch your product. Choose your niche, build the product, set up your funnel. This process helps creators go from idea to income in 6 focus steps. There's not much information in there. So what we could do is say, expand on field 14. Create 4 sentences explaining the process. Now we can actually just copy and paste this whole thing, and we can just paste that in there. Looks fantastic. Now, earlier in this video, we talked about a Cyberpunk role-playing game, and that's a really fun example for me to show you the last thing I want to talk about in this video, which is TT Turbo. And I'm not going to get too deep into TT Turbo in this particular video because I have made another walkthrough video about the tool, and we also have a really big user guide that you can read on TT Turbo. The tool does have a slight learning curve, but once you master TT Turbo, it is so powerful. You can make awesome books with it very, very quickly. So I'm going to show you a quick example right now that links back to our Cyberpunk idea. So I'll show you how that works. First, what we're going to do is put some fields on the page. So I'm going to go to text, and we're on the type tab. So I'm going to go down here and choose Paste Blast. And what I want to do is build a page that will create scenarios for our role-playing game. And what I want to do is come up with 10 scenarios. First of all, I've got to create a template for our scenarios. So I'm going to go to Paste Blast here, and I'm going to say what fields are going to be on the page. So the first one is the scenario name. Then we're going to have a backstory. We're going to have details about the location, characters, present, and then we're also going to put what kind of security is present at this location, because it's a cyberpunk game, so exciting things are going to happen. People are going to be hacking things, breaking into things. There we go. We've got 5 fields here: scenario name, backstory, location, characters, and security. And when I click blast it, it's going to put those fields on the page for us. Great. I'm going to arrange this on the page. We're going to make that center the scenario name. We're going to pull these ones down. In fact, I'm going to go to type and align all those as center. I want to give this a cool font. So let's see. I'm going to use the Cuisine font because that looks like a cool hacker font, right? And we're going to make the title, we're going to make that big there. And we're going to pull these down a bit. Pull these down and pull this down. And I'm going to put in an image at the back of this. I generated this image with Midjourney. From the Arrange tab, I'm going to turn off my margins and click full width. We're going to center this on the page, and then I'm going to send that to the back. And then I want to make my text white so it stands out. So what I'm going to do is click on the Arrange tab, and do select all text, which selects all of it. And then on style, I'm going to make that white. Okay, that's looking pretty neat. I like this. I'm going to copy and paste these 4 fields. So I'm going to copy those and paste them. I'm also going to select the scenario name. And now what we're going to do is go to TT Turbo placeholders, and I'm going to click convert to placeholders. And now what you can see happening here is that the fields that we selected have got these curly brackets around them. And that means that they are now placeholders. They are going to be replaced with whatever text ChatGPT creates. These fields that I didn't select, those are going to act as headers. So that text is going to be static on each template. So we're not going to mess with that. Now, what I'm going to do, if you look at this side, you'll see that it actually has generated a list of the placeholders. So it says scenario name, backstory, location details, characters present, and security information. So I'm going to copy that list. Now we have a list of all the placeholders. So now I'm going over to ChatGPT and I'm going to paste that list. So you can see we have a list of all those fields. So what I'm going to do is explain to ChatGPT what I want. I'm going to say, generate 10 scenarios for a cyberpunk tabletop role-playing game. I want a fairly detailed backstory, 1 long paragraph, a scenario name, and 3 lines for the rest of the fields. I would like the output to be in a quoted, comma-separated file. These are the headers for the file. So let's give this a shot. Great. So it looks like it's doing exactly what we want. It has the headers here, and then it has each scenario. We've asked for 10 scenarios. It's putting each one on a separate row. So now we can copy this, and now we're going to go over to TT Turbo, and I'm going to paste that. Enter. Perfect. So you can see here it's got the headers that we need: scenario name, backstory, location details, characters present, security information, and that lines up with the placeholders on our page. And now what we're going to do, and this bit's important, you want to uncheck where it says add fields to page. And the reason we're unchecking that is because the form pad design already added those fields to the page. So now we can just say continue. And you're just going to say import text. And hopefully what it's going to do is go through 10 pages and it's going to generate 10 pages with our scenarios. It is magic. Wow, it has done this. So this looks fantastic. We have all the information. The only thing I noticed, this text is a little bit high, so it's all running together. So we can just go and fix that. And that header there, I'm just going to move that so I can bring this down to the location details. There we go. So this looks fantastic. Look at this. We have multiple pages and these are the scenarios. Check it out. So we have Dead Channel Revival, the backstory. A pirate radio signal has begun broadcasting encrypted propaganda and haunting songs from a station long thought defunct. Whoa. The location details: an old radio tower in the Black Sector, no man's land. Characters present are a dead journalist consciousness, urban scavengers, and a corp recovery team. And then there's the security information. So it has done this for 10 separate scenarios and they look great. So just check through your pages. You might want to fix any spacing issues or alignment issues, but this looks pretty amazing. And just think about how much time this can save you, that you have just created 10 pages just like this. So there you go. That's how you can create awesome content for Etsy, for Teachers Pay Teachers, for KDP, all with tangent templates. And you can even come up with t-shirt designs or mug designs for merch this way. We do have templates for merch sizes in here as well. So I hope you create some awesome things with this. I would love it if you want to share your creations, or if you have any feedback on this, there's anything we can do to make it smarter, cleverer, easier, quicker, let us know. We want to work with you to make Tangent templates the best it can be. The price is going up in July, so I would recommend buying it now if you haven't already. And also, do check out Origins. Origins includes Tangent templates, and if you already have it, then we will give you a discount. Just send me an email at support@tangent.rocks or send me a message on Facebook, and I can give you a discount off Origins, which is our huge AI, monetizing AI course, which has over 21 hours of content, over 65 lessons, I think we're at 65 lessons, and that now includes AI video, creating awesome videos with AI, including music and scripting, and it includes a class on automation. It just keeps growing. It is a fantastic course, so do check that out as well. If you have enjoyed this video, do remember to like it and also subscribe to this channel so you don't miss future updates. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Have an amazing weekend. Love you guys. Bye.